What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Hot Mic here on May 29th, 2025. It seems I've got to put dates now on these shows so that people understand the things we talk about on certain dates ahead of other people are valid and legal, and our claims we can make about breaking scoops on this show. May 29th, 2025. I am the Outlaw John Rocha, joined as always by the Sneider himself, Jeff Sneider. How are you?
Hello, Johnny boy! What's up, my man? How are your fucking eyes treating you?
My eyes are good. They're getting better. I just went to the eye doctor yesterday, and he said that I have 20/25 vision now in my left eye, or 20/30 rather, and it'll be 20/25 in 6 weeks. And at that point, I'll probably have to get lenses for distance, but everything within 10 feet looks really good. So I'm very happy about everything that's been going on. So yeah, the eyes are doing well, my man. How are you? How are things?
Good. I just wanted to make sure you could see the entire internet rip you off. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get into that situation for sure here on the show. But yeah, I just wanted to start off with a little bit of a ball busting start here to let people know when we break stuff on the show, it counts. When we talk about stuff weeks ahead of time or months ahead of time on stuff, it counts. Doesn't matter if we only have 40,000 subscribers and they have 5 million, it still counts as breaking a scoop here on the show. So I just want to make that clear before we start. But we got a lot to get into here on the hot, maybe the burning mic to talk about here with comic book stuff going on, movie stuff going on. And later on, Jeff and I are going to give you our top 10 Wes Anderson movies. We're going to have a mini little top 10 episode going back and forth about what we think are the top 10 Wes Anderson movies, because the Phoenician Scheme comes out tomorrow, or next week rather, and already screened
tonight, bro. I'm seeing it tonight.
Yeah, you're seeing it tonight.
That's right. Why I brought it up, because it opens in LA and New York tonight. I guess.
Oh, it does?
Down in San Diego, it ain't. Yeah, it's limited this weekend.
It is. I don't know if it's here anywhere here in San Diego. Maybe I'll make a trip up there this weekend to see it, because I kind of want to see. Although, Jeff, I haven't heard.
Come tonight, Johnny. What are you doing after the show? The show ends at 6. You can be in LA by 8:45 at the Grove.
Is that what time the screening
That's what time I'm going. I'm going like a normal screening.
Nice. That's great. All right. Well, maybe I probably can't go tonight because I've got to be on another podcast after hours. But I will I'll make plans for it. Yeah, I'm going to be on the ATG cast at 6 o'clock. After we're done here, is going to jump over there and be on their show, talk Star Wars. But anyway, what we're here to talk about is the topics on our rundown, Jeff. And I want to start with Harry Potter, but what do you think? Where do you want to start? Do you want to start the Hulk Spider-Man stuff? I wanted to wait till more people got in here before we jumped into it. What are your thoughts here?
Should we do the DC scoop?
You want to jump? Well, we only have 400 people. You want to drop the DC scoop now?
Okay, we can wait. We can wait a little
Sure.
bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I just want to keep you happy, John. That's my primary objective this week. So why don't we start wherever you'd like to start, Daddy?
Well, let's start at the beginning here with this situation. The Harry Potter kids have been cast there, as you see from left to right. That is going to be Hermione, Harry Potter, and Ron being a part of the new TV series here for Harry Potter over there on HBO Max. The names are Dominic McLaughlin. He's the guy in the middle there who's going to play Harry Potter, who he has a show coming up very soon. Arabella Stanton there on the left is Hermione Granger, and she comes with a lot of pedigree, having just recently been the lead in Matilda, the musical over there on London's West End. And Alistair Stout is playing Ron Weasley. And from what they're saying, Alistair is probably the least experienced of the three. So, but you're bringing in some pretty good looking actors in terms of how they match the look of the characters as they're described in the book. And of course, already there have been backlash. There have been angry back and forth. People, anti-woke fools have already made their YouTube videos complaining about how they've gone the Rachel Zegler route with Arabella Stanton when they probably have absolutely no knowledge of what her background is, because she's a very young and new actress. So, Jeff, what are your thoughts on the looks here? And do they fit for you? Do you like it? And we did say that they seemed to be close to announcing a cast for these kids when they were casting all these other teacher roles.
Yeah, we broke that. Credit us. We broke that. We knew that they would be casting the three leads of this series eventually.
Eventually. Damn it.
Um, listen, these kids look the part, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that they must be very talented to beat out 30,000 other young actors.
Right.
Arabella, in particular, having been, performed live in front of audiences in the title role in a musical.
Right.
Yeah, already just disgusting invective online. Leave it to the internet. Just these are children, totally fucked up. I never read the Harry Potter books, so I've never been invested in JK Rowling or the Wizarding World. I know how much they mean to you.
Yeah.
So it's really like your opinion that I want on this. But yeah, like I'm more interested in just like how long she sticks around, because I do think that there are Harry Potter fans who would watch this series who may not watch this series because of JK Rowling's involvement.
Yes.
And so it's like if Warner Brothers senses that, they're leaving something on the table simply by having her involved, like I wonder at what point are they going to make a grandfather offer, like that big Amazon offer that they made to Barbara Broccoli to get the Bond rights, or that Disney made to George Lucas to get the Star Wars rights. I think it's inevitable. Other people say she'll never let it go. But I'm just curious what you think about if she should Warner Brothers try to get her out of here, and what do you think of these castings?
I want to give a plug for Jeff's newsletter, because I like when Jeff reports the news. It's always fun, his blurbs, bits and bobs and things that he does. But like when he does his columns, and I've seen Jeff write a column from scratch, and it's amazing to watch this madman's brain work and how he's constructing paragraphs and puts things in, how quickly he does it, and it's amazing. I'll take a week for something that takes Jeff 2 hours. One of the big reasons I enjoy reading your stuff on the Sneider is when you get into these questions and you explore them, you delve into them and find out where you land on this stuff. And the JK Rowling article, or column rather, I thought was a really well written one by you that went into all the different things and connected how this is similar to the other situations that are going on or have gone on currently over the last few months or last few years with other franchises and other projects. You have to be clear about this, right? It is a thing that is affecting people. How many people is it going to affect? I don't know, Jeff, that they're going to know until the series comes out on HBO Max. I think there is a groundswell. There is some pugnacity from her side. I know you were giving her credit a week or two ago for saying, I won't fire or get Papa Isidou fired. But she also celebrated a women is women judgment with a cigar, smoking, gloating. So there is this thing that there's two sides to her that you just kind of have a hard time coming to terms with. I think most people have forgotten the artist and focused on the art, because there's so much positivity within the Harry Potter books and positivity of accepting people who are different, right? Ironically. And so this is the thing that I think people want to focus on, but I don't think we're going to know whether they're going to drop her or not until they have maybe some testing of their stuff, or the ratings come in and they are not that strong. And there's a big groundswell of disapproval of her being still connected to this, because a lot of notable actors have come out to call her out, to try to start campaigns against her, not go after the actors who've agreed to be a part of it, but certainly campaigns against her. So yeah, I think it's going to have to reach a fever pitch before she considers walking away.
And I think that fever pitch will eventually come once the show is out, which is why I think that she could sell the rights during this show at some point. But I still think it's going to be sooner rather than later. To me, it's just there's never been a better time to sell rights like these.
Yeah.
And you can also obviously look at Bond as the precedent. You can be like, well, they got $1 billion, and mine is arguably more merch friendly and more kid friendly, and just there's more I think you can do honestly with Harry Potter than James Bond potentially. So. I think it may even be it may be more valuable.
Yeah.
And I just don't see why she would want to continue to because she can't go make a movie. I mean, maybe she could on her own and self-finance it, but you need studio partners. And at some point, especially when things are changing hands and there's rumors that Warner Brothers will be sold in the next 5 years. Who knows, who she's even dealing with at that point.
Right.
It could be the head of Universal. It could be the head of Apple, and so I just feel like the next 5 years, it wouldn't shock me if she did punt on it, but
Yeah, but she's so like adamant that she is going to hold on to this. I mean, I've said this before. I worked obviously for 2 years at the Harry Potter land. The stories about her being micromanaging stuff is legendary. I mean, it is legendary because from what I understand, she had them deconstruct the park after it was 40 to 50% built because they used material that were of lesser quality than she wanted to be used in the construction of the park, and they had to start all over again. She had that kind of power to make them basically accept wasting all this money going a cheaper route, and then she picked out the contractors. That's what the things that we had heard as we were.
And at some point, isn't that exhausting? It's like,
yes, of course it is. Yes.
Yeah. So that to me, it just feels like once, and she's going to be 60 later this year. I feel like, once you turn 65, it's like, all right, shouldn't I just be retired and like,
relax,
live the rest of my life on a beach? Unless you have to work, obviously. 65 is a lot younger than it used to be. But yeah, I think that this show is going to be big, but I do think that it could start huge and then experience a pretty big drop off, almost like what's the show that just did that? Last of Us. Yeah, Last of Us. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, and going back to the casting here, I like the look of these kids. The kid who's playing Harry Potter, that's not necessarily something I would see from his look, but they certainly got I thought Daniel Radcliffe, when I saw him immediately, I remember distinctly seeing his face going, yep, that's Harry Potter. With this, I don't 100% see it just yet, but of course it's without the makeup, without the glasses, without the lightning bolt on his head. So there's differences here to look. Hermione, I think this is a great choice. I think with her status as an actress, I think clearly they know they have a lot for Hermione to do, and they want to bring someone in who's got a lot of experience, or at least for her age, a lot of experience. And as I mentioned, and you reiterated, she is the lead of a musical, not off Broadway or off London, like London's West End, which is essentially Broadway for London. She is leading this cast. And then she was also in one of these other Andrew Lloyd Webber shows that she was Starlight Express. She was in that as well. So she has experience with pressure of being in these high profile projects or situations. So I think it's a great choice for him. Ron, you don't need to find the most amazing actor to play Ron. So the kid having not that much experience, I'll be curious to see what he's going to do with it. Excited to see their chemistry and whatever. But clearly, Jeff, we're going to start shooting really soon, don't you think? Now they've cast this and they've cast the teachers. Let's go, right?
No, I think it'll be later this summer.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably be like August.
Do you think they're going to shoot like one season, stop for a bit, one season, like we're seeing with Last of Us, like 2 years in between seasons? Do you think that's the plan here, or they're going to just be shooting
just crank them out?
Yeah.
It's a good question. I don't really know. I mean, obviously there were those questions when Lithgow was cast because he's a little bit older.
His age.
I don't know if they would shoot back-to-back seasons. It seems difficult. But I don't think you're going to be waiting like a year in between shoots. It may be we're shooting that, the show's in post, but like then we start shooting like another 6 months later or something. I doubt it'll be a full year in between production.
Right, because I mean, I was reading about the Beatles movies, and apparently those are going to be 15 months of shooting, 4 months each of these films. That's a hell of a lot to ask of actors to be committed to a project for 15 months, Jeff. That's a lot.
So on that note, John,
yeah,
I actually heard something this week about that.
Oh, about the Beatles film, or about the show?
Take it with a grain of salt or whatever, but
yeah,
it's my understanding that the band itself is going to be in 40% of each movie.
Wow.
So the other 60% are going to, really drill down into each individual band member.
Right.
But yeah, so the whole group won't really be needed, except for that 40%. So
right.
There will be a little bit of flexibility, and you'll see those actors, take on other movies as well, I'm sure.
Like my curiosity with that is like, what are the band scenes all the same scenes and instances and events just shot
from different perspectives? Yeah, Rashomon style. That I don't know. I don't know.
Like, is there Cavern Club stuff, and then is there stuff like, in front of the royalty when they were doing that Shake Your Pearls moment? Is there other, like, those are the questions I have. The Ed Sullivan Show. That's
I
was
think
so
if there's a
massive.
discrepancy in terms of like, well, John saw it this way and Paul saw it this way or whatever,
Mm.
then you could do it. But I don't think like every scene's going to have like multiple perspectives and
Right,
pop
right.
up in every movie. No, I can't imagine that. But you may see one concert through John's eyes and one concert through Ringo's eyes, being in the back. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything more we want to say about this? I mean, JK Rowling said she couldn't be happier about the casting announcements for these 3 kids. And even the people who were like saying that they changed the ethnicity of Hermione, she has never said that Hermione was white. She said that Hermione, after being scared, popped her face from behind a tree and she said her white face from beyond a tree. But she made it clear that that meant that she was scared, not that she was white. So, but you see these people who have been holding on to this going, no, it's clear that it's a white face. And it's like, yeah, no, actually, she's quite clear that it isn't. It could have been played by a black woman, as we saw, or a black girl, as we saw with the Cursed Child. So those are the things that you're seeing now, the pushback, which I like that there's been a pushback, at least to all of this. And God, I hope they're protecting these kids. And I really wish sites would just stop posting photos of Emma Watson next to everybody else. Just stop. Just let it be, man. You know how people are gonna
I
react.
saw you. Was it you that got down on Variety for that? For the social media team?
It made me angry because, like, you know what you're doing, and all these other sites that did it, there are other sites that did it. You know what? Just put all 3 of them. Then the 3 of them, that's fine. But if
when you say you know what you're doing, like there's no question that in putting together scoops in artwork, I would put an actor next to the person who originated the role. That's just
sure.
I think that's a pretty common strategy. But I understand that by doing that, you're inviting certain comparisons.
Right.
So when you say you know what you're doing, it's like, okay, I may know that this is going to lead to that, but it's also like a perfectly acceptable image, I think, for the story.
Well, it's going to lead to people leaving horrific comments, discussing
the horrific comments are going to happen anyways. Like I'm not going to change the art that my instincts tell me to do just because I think that it's going to invite those comparisons. Those comparisons are going to be made anyways, aren't they?
Well, I think you have to have responsibility. Like I said, great power comes great responsibility. So if you're going to use a platform as massive as Variety's social media platform to put a picture up like that is going to invite the most vitriolic and horrific comments, then I think you have a responsibility to turn off the comments, because that's the thing. Discussing film, turn it off. Screen Rant, turn it off. Variety didn't turn it off because they want that engagement. They want people to leave comments and get the sites and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
They knew what they were doing.
I mean, shit, World of Real, as good as I think Jordan's site is in his newsletter, I think that that comment section is the most toxic on the internet. So
that's a fair point. No offense, Jordan, of course. All right. What are we moving on to? Oh yeah. Who are the Covington? Who are the Covington kids? I don't know what that means. Who are the Covington kids? I don't know what that is. Anyway, all right. Let's move on to another story here, Jeff. Let's see what have I got lined up here for us to talk about, because there's been a lot here. We have 700 people. Why don't we do the DC news now? Shall we do the DC news now? Are you feeling that? Or
sure. Let me just make sure it didn't break something.
Because that'll segue us into the Superman stuff. So go ahead.
Okay. So just before, the show, sometimes I'll reach out to source and be like, you heard anything as far as Marvel goes, DC goes, Star Wars goes, whatever it may be, as the show starts in 10 minutes. And so someone actually responded and they said, yeah, I actually do have a little something on DC. Now, normally this stuff would go in the newsletter, right? But I was like, I don't need to do that for the newsletter. We'll have a little fun on the hot mic this time.
Okay.
But you guys should all still subscribe to the newsletter, because there is another scoop that I have for tonight. Okay, so this is for lanterns.
Okay.
There's been an addition to lanterns. She is a 3-time Oscar nominee.
Ooh.
And a 4-time Emmy winner.
Okay.
I don't know what the role is, but you can welcome to the DC universe Miss Laura Linney.
Whoa!
Laura Linney has joined Lanterns, I am told. Laura Linney will soon be seen Actually, she's directing 2 episodes of Black Rabbit. Not Lanterns. I'm saying I thought I was reading like the shows that she's got coming up, and it's listed as Black Rabbit, which is the new Jude Law, Jason Bateman Netflix show. But she's actually directing that show. She's not on that, so that must be the Ozark connection with her and Bateman, right?
Well, yeah.
I'm looking at what else she has. She doesn't have anything. She's not. She didn't have any movies or TV like awaiting release. Actually, she was probably just been busy directing for Black Rabbit. So. It's the return of Laura Linney, the return of her to television as well. She's a fantastic actress. I've always loved Laura Linney ever since. You know what my favorite Laura Linney movie is? It's Primal Fear.
Primal Fear. Yeah. That's early. That's what, late 90s, something like that. She's early.
Mid 90s. She's great in that opposite Richard Gere and Sexy as Hell. I've always had a thing for her. But she's been nominated for You Can Count on Me, for The Savages. Remember that movie?
Yes, of course.
And can you name the other movie, Mr. Schmodown?
That she was nominated for?
Yep, supporting actress.
Oh shit.
The other 2 were leads. She was in Kinsey.
Kinsey, right? With
Can you believe that movie got Oscar nominations?
Right, with Liam Neeson. That's right.
Yeah, so there you have it. Laura Linney from Ozark joining Lanterns.
That's awesome. I'm with you. I love her as an actress. I've always been a fan of hers. My first was You Can Count on Me. That I remember watching Primal Fear, but not necessarily her standing out. That was more obviously Edward Norton. But it wasn't until You Can Count on Me with her and Ruffalo that I was like, wow, this is an actress I need to be watching for stuff going forward. And of course she hosts Masterpiece Theater on occasion as well. She's always great at doing that as well. So. Very good. And she's a great interview. If you ever watch her on any of the interviews, she's so funny. And of course, Love Actually. A lot of people love Actually as well. So, okay, so she's joining Lanterns. That's another actress of like real weight and experience. And as you said, nomination. So you're bringing in yet another strong actress to be a part of this Lanterns series. So that is really cool. I love that idea. What do you think? You have no idea who she's playing or anything like that?
I mean, she'd make like a good cop. It's a cop show, right? She's like a good like small town sheriff or something, but I felt like that role was already taken. So yeah, I have no idea. Maybe she will be part of the Lantern, whatever the hell they call them. What's the Green Lantern Corps? Like could you see her? Could you see her being the person who sends them to Earth? I don't know.
I know, because that's the elders of Oa, those old guys. They're the ones who send the Green Lanterns to the different sections of the galaxy. Listen, Kyle Chandler is probably around the same age as her. So could she be playing Carol Ferris? Could she be playing Hal Jordan's significant other? Carol Ferris. Blake Lively played her in the Green Lantern movie. I mean, that's not out of the realm of possibility. They make a good couple. So
yeah, I agree. I don't really know the comics or any of the characters or any of that stuff, but she would be great. I think she's an amazing actress. So
yeah, I agree. Also known as Starfire. Thank you, Resident.
Thank you to the source on that one. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you to the source. Yeah, thank you guys. Whoever sent it in to Jeff. Thank you. Well, speaking of DC, let's not leave DC just yet, Jeff. We've got almost 800 people watching us live. Thank you so much for joining us. Please subscribe to Jeff at theinsnider.com and subscribe to this channel as we bring you this show very soon to be twice a week. Jeff and I have to hammer out the details on that, but that is the plan. Hot mic twice a week. That's the plan. But let's talk about this, man. Superman. World of Real did a breakdown on some of the stuff Jordan has been hearing about Superman going on behind the scenes. Jeff, you and I have kind of talked about some of this stuff, but there's some new things that I found in this report from his. I'm going to read it real quick, what Jordan wrote here. It says, tensions are high at Warner Brothers, where CEO David Zaslav and DC Studios head James Gunn and Peter Safran are scrutinizing every frame to avoid another franchise misfire. Sources close to the production say the film received a mixed reception at earlier test screenings, as Jeff said already, triggering a cascade of changes. Gunn's original cut apparently leaned heavier into the humor, something the execs weren't entirely sold on. In response, several comedic beats were cut, trimming down both tone and runtime. One of the film's editors was quietly removed mid-process, leading to a slight reworking of the film's structure. This was somewhat of a, quote, tweak and signaled a slight shift in how the story is being presented. Some key sequences were shuffled and minor scenes were added during recent reshoots. Oh, I thought he didn't do reshoots. The music department wasn't spared either. A second composer was brought in late in the game to reshape the score, suggesting the tone may have been in flux as recently as a few weeks ago. And it's all part of what one insider described as, quote, a slight course correction. Altogether, about 25 minutes of footage has been trimmed from earlier versions, giving the final cut a leaner feel. The adjustments hint at a studio anxious to get it right, especially with this being the first major installment. The last test screening, Jeff, is supposed to happen this week. Get your ass in there. Whether these 11th hour changes pay off, we'll see, but maybe the studio has a tad more confidence going into the film. And the runtime was released. I think it's 2 hours and 2 minutes or something like that. So, Jeff, your thoughts on all these things that Jordan wrote about what happened on season, even though some of the stuff you had reported already?
I mean, first of all, I don't do the test screening thing anymore, guys. My jersey's already hung in the fucking rafters.
Oh no!
Okay,
all right.
I've retired from that. I think I retired after I took a day off of work and drove like an hour out of LA to go to like a test screening, and security had my photo on a clipboard. They pulled me out of line and said, "Get the fuck out of here."
Let's go, guy.
Yeah, I've done it all. I will wait for this movie to come out, and as I encourage all of you to, that is like the thing that drives me nuts, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I get that the reason maybe some people read my newsletter or some people watch this show, or it's like they want to be told. They're, and that goes across multiple aspects of life around the world. Yeah. We're looking for answers. We're looking for people who either have all the answers or pretend to have all the answers. And we're looking for people to tell us what to think in a way.
Yeah.
Think what you want. We're just passing stuff forward.
Yes.
So don't be like, oh, Superman's gonna suck because someone at a test screening said it sucked. Like,
right.
First of all, it's a test screening. Like, they are tinkering with things. They are restructuring things.
Yeah. With
Superman specifically, I believe there was a days of the week thing.
Okay.
So it would start with like Monday.
Oh, right. Like kind of like 7 did.
Just like I always go back to 7. Good one, John. I was just going to say 7. I'm told that's gone.
Oh,
yeah. So like it was things like that, little things, and not a huge thing. But I think it lent. If you like look at that report or just everything I've been hearing, it all lines up.
Yeah.
But it lines up with like the movie making process. It's like, the VFX are rough. This isn't working. There's too much humor. I mean, and then now the running time's being trimmed. I think that the movie's gonna be fine. I think it's gonna perform well and might even win July. It might even triumph over Fantastic Four and Jurassic World.
Right.
But do I think that we're getting like a Dark Knight? No, I do not. I definitely do not think we are getting anything close to Dark Knight or a movie that is going to redefine the comic book movie genre. I think, again, and this is part of starting a universe. Like, there has to be an element of safety in it.
Yeah.
And that's what it sounds like. They're playing it a little safe.
Yeah. Listen, we should admit on our side, like, we've been reporting some of the stuff. You've been talking about some of the things you're hearing from some of the screenings and some of the negative responses or mixed responses, shall we say, overall. So we're just, as Jeff said, we just tell you what we're hearing. We're to tell you what we know. And then it's up to you all to decide what to do with that information. We're not gonna manipulate your mind to make you think one way or the other.
We're not going to sell a single ticket to Superman, nor are we going to impact sales a single ticket. Okay,
exactly. We don't.
If you're watching this show, it's assumed that you're going to see Superman.
Yes, right. Exactly. We don't have that kind of hubris, unlike other YouTube channels. We don't actively try to stop you from going to see a movie or try to make sure you go to see the movie. We'll tell you.
I'm trying to set expectations, okay? Because expectations are everything.
That's true.
Okay, they dictate whether you like a movie, love a movie, hate a movie, or disappointed by a movie. It's all about what did you enter the theater with, and that's why I was actually jealous of people. It's like you always think you want to be the first person inside of screenings, right? I was in that first crop of Mission Impossible reactions or whatever. I almost wish I had been invited to the last screening a day before it opened, so I could have, maybe adjusted my expectations a little bit, which may have been too high going in. So I think it's actually a luxury to have the right expectations, or at least, what I've heard are the right ones.
Yeah. And just to clarify, James Gunn debunked, or quote unquote debunked, possibly, the runtime for Superman, because it had been reported in a number of places that it was 2 hours and 2 minutes. But he reported on Threads, I think, responded back, that is not correct. It's almost totally locked, meaning we're just finishing a couple of VFX shots over the weekend, but that's not the running time.
Didn't I report it was like 2:20?
Yeah. You had said 2:20.
Yeah.
But other people had said 2 hours and 2 minutes. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Who cares? Who fucking cares? You're going to sit there anyways. Like, runtime stories are like so boring to me.
Is it good? That's what I care.
They're still finding the movie in the edit.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. Agreed 100%.
But okay, what else is Gunn? I mean, Gunn, he like goes through these times where he's like super quiet. On social media, and then he just resurfaces and starts responding to like every little thing and every little person.
Exactly.
Again, he should just maintain the radio silence. What else did you want to talk about with Superman?
No, I was saying, anything more on DC that you want to make sure we hit before we roll on?
I mean, again, I think that they're going to wait to see how Superman performs, which is only 6 weeks away at this point.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Before pulling the trigger on anything else. I don't know that I would like put a movie like Clayface into production without knowing how Superman performed first.
Right.
I get that you may have to attach an actor, but I don't really know how much else is going on right now.
All right. Well, let's move on then.
I'd heard something about like, TV shows and like HBO blocking Gunn's ideas for TV shows and stuff.
Whoa, really?
Well, I definitely think that, HBO likes to operate with a certain amount of autonomy. And now that DC is like, well, we're doing movies, we're doing TV shows, our fingers have to be in all these pies.
Yeah.
I don't know how much HBO loves that. And I don't know who has the final say. The whole structure of everything seems all crazy.
Yeah.
With Batman, I don't know. Is there anything new to talk about on Batman?
Not really. I mean, there's Lauren LaFranc did an interview, I think, with Variety or Deadline or THR, and was talking about how there's still a lot of active conversations happening about spin-offs.
You're right. And Gunn has said, there are no spin-offs in development, right?
Right. He has said that, yeah. But then Lauren LaFranc said that, so you're like, wait, what? What's the truth here? So
I think the messaging out of the studio is kind of a mess.
Yes.
I don't know that he's writing a direct sequel to Superman, but I do think he's writing a movie with Superman in it and a movie with Batman in it. That is why I think that everything's gone cold on Brave and the Bold. I think that is the script that James is working on, a world's finest movie or something like that.
Yeah.
And is Wonder Woman part of that?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. Last week we talked about, I said, like, there were promising developments around Wonder Woman, but what does that mean? That's the question for all, because will that be the next shoe that drops? Recently this week, RJ Arjona did a cover, did some photos there for Collider. There was a piece on her. So is this a bit of a mini push after Andor's ended to maybe get her in the mix? Although a lot of people think that's
what you do, and you're positioning yourself, guys, to be a major superhero. You go to Collider for that Collider photo shoot.
Hey, she looked good in the photo shoot. Digital magazines, Jeff. Digital magazines. Yeah. What about this? Friend of the show, Umberto Gonzalez here, Mayimbe himself, tweeted this out a few hours ago at 5:43 yesterday. So a little under 24 hours ago yesterday, Jeff. This is Brainiac with the eyes.
I know. I had to ask somebody. I was like, what am I looking at here?
So,
I mean, is Brainiac a post-credit in Superman? Is he the villain in whatever Gunn is working on now, whatever he's writing? I think that has to be hidden allusion or whatever, the hidden meaning to Umberto's tweet, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, that orb that's in the sky, is that a thing connected to Brainiac, or is this a post-credit scene? Yeah, there's questions to be had here. Yeah.
Who would play a good Brainiac?
Oh, Jesus. There have been so many different versions in the comics, depending on where, what history of Brainiac you're telling, and then what version of Brainiac that is showing up. As he's even been part of superhero teams versions of Brainiac. So, well, I don't know if you're going, God, if they weren't all of them doing a Beatles movie, you could look at those 4 guys and pick one of those 4 guys to be a great Brainiac. Harris Dickinson would be an interesting Brainiac, don't you think? No? What do you think?
I mean, I'm thinking about
too old. Jason Isaacs, get out of here. You guys think 20s or 30s. Go ahead, yeah.
It's funny. I'm thinking of somebody who has already been in a DC movie. But I'm thinking of that Jesse Eisenberg, Paul Dano type. Guys who are smart, right? It's Brainiac. Are we casting a nerd?
Brainiac is ruthless, man, and he's kind of got that kind of arrogance to him, and he's a good-looking dude. Well, he's not obviously a dude, but good-looking, sentient being. So I don't think you'd go for a nerdy, nebbish type like Jesse Eisenberg or Michael Cera.
Fair enough. Yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about.
You got to be formidable. Yeah, you guys are going too old. Ray Fiennes, you guys are going too old. Cumberbatch, he's already playing Doctor Strange. He's not going to jump over and do Brainiac. You got to think someone in their 20s, late 20s, early 30s, who's young, and they would be able to get him to come back multiple times to play Brainiac. That's why Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker. There was a belief that he was going to be coming back for multiple films, sadly passing away, but they found a young actor who gave that Joker energy and in my opinion, top what Jack Nicholson did, who was, of course, decades older than him when he did it. So you've got to find somebody young because you want him to come back multiple times down the road.
All right. Well, officially, I have no opinion on Brainiac casting.
Okay. Austin Butler. Normally I'm not a fan of Flavor of the Month, but Austin Butler would be an interesting fucking Brainiac considering what he did in Dune Part 2. I like that idea. Oh, I like that idea a lot. Oof, I like that idea. Ooh, all right. Anyway, let's move on to this story here, Jeff. This Alfonso Cuarón. So, Jeff, you were one of the first people that I saw mentioning this gentleman's name to direct the James Bond film, but there's a number of reports coming out this week saying that he possibly will not be directing the 26th installment. World of Real and other places are intimating that or saying that. And no one is exactly sure why. So I'm wondering, Jeff, have you heard anything? Did the deal fall through? Did he get cold feet? Did it not work out? Or was this all just kind of pie in the sky wishing, and in the end, it just didn't happen?
I don't think it was pie in the sky. I haven't heard one thing or the other. I haven't heard anything saying that it's not Cuarón.
Okay.
It could be that, they wound up going with a writer who Cuarón, didn't want or something like that. I don't know. I don't know where they are in things. I know where that story came from.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think Jordan, let's just say I knew about that story for a while and did not say anything for a reason.
Did not go on to it. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we do have something. Well, speaking of which, what do you think about this? Aaron Taylor Johnson signing a deal with Omega.
That's another story, Jordan. I mean, God, I love Jordan. I read the site every day, but I saw that story. And I was like, what? He signed a deal with Omega wristwatch, and so he's Bond. What the fuck?
No, he's saying it could be. It could be indicating.
Yeah, well, I could be Brad Pitt with a hair transplant. I don't understand all these question marks.
Well,
okay? I understand doing a question mark headline every now and then, but when every story on the site ends in a question mark, it kind of just lets you off the hook and lets you say whatever you want. I mean, just being honest.
Daddy journalist coming down. Daddy journalist Jeff coming down.
I'm not trying to scold him. Again, I'm a huge fan. I love Jordan. I love what he does.
I know you are.
And his site is very comprehensive, I find. But then every now and then there are stories I'm just like, why did you do this?
Well,
I don't think this is evidence of anything other than a
Okay.
guy signing a fucking deal for watches.
So if he signs it, it's not going to be because this is not going to be an indicator, right?
This is not how Bond. Like what? I don't even understand. Like
you can't put the way Bond has been done in the past to here now, because this is Amazon, and Amazon is as kind of doing they're going to do it their way and as commercialized as possible, as marketable as possible. So
I mean,
the idea of it not being this way, you got to throw that out the window when you're dealing with Amazon.
The only thing that makes, because to me, Aaron Johnson is like, I guess, I mean, he was in Nosferatu, but I didn't think he was particularly very good. Craven was a huge bomb. We'll see how 28 years later performs.
Right.
Like Final Destination has set a high bar. 28 years later doesn't clear the Final Destination 6 bar or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good look. The only thing that makes me think that gives me a little bit of like, Aaron Taylor Johnson juice.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anyone's thought of this. Wasn't he the star of their first movie?
What do you
Wasn't Amazon's first movie, theatrical release, The Wall, the sniper movie?
The John Cena one, right?
The sniper movie, yeah.
Yeah, okay, The Wall.
I could have sworn that was like how they started. And I think that would be interesting if they went from this guy starred in like our first movie and now he's going to be the star of our biggest movie, essentially. But again, that's a totally different regime, So I don't think that Aaron Taylor Johnson is the choice. I don't think he's the best choice. I've never really been in his corner as far as this movie.
All right, fair point. All right, this is kind of breaking right now. Elden Ring. I don't know if you know about this, but Deadline is reporting through their sources that Kit Connor is in talks to lead Alex Garland's Elden Ring, which is, of course, adaptation there of the video game. A24 is doing this thing. So, what do you think about that? Kit Connor leading an Elden Ring adaptation? Do you like this idea? What are you feeling? He was just in Warfare himself. So what do you think?
I have no opinion. It's like I've never played Elden Ring.
Okay.
I don't know really what that is, other than it's going to be one of A24's biggest movies ever for sure.
Right.
And Warfare, I really liked Warfare. I think it's one of the best movies of the year, other than a couple of guys like DeFaro, and the guy from Shogun, Cosmo. They all kind of blend together for me.
How dare you?
Yeah, like they're all wearing the same outfit. They're covered in like smoke and dirt and So I don't think Kit Connor necessarily stood out to me in Warfare, so it's tough to judge.
Wow. Did Michael Gandolfini stand out to you in Warfare? I feel like he did.
Maybe a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like him.
I know you do. You got a soft spot for him because you see his dad in him, right? Isn't that what it is?
I have a soft spot for people who are a little overweight.
Oh, come on.
It's true. What do you mean?
He's a little overweight for Hollywood standards, right?
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Like there's this series, The Better Sister, that's on today or tomorrow, or whatever, with Elizabeth Banks and Jessica Biel.
Oof.
And the son in that is, it's like a football player looking guy, and not like a lineman guy, And I thought it was so refreshing. I was just like, this kid doesn't look like the normal teenage kid that you see on all these shows. So, maybe it's just my love of Angus, but I do love the younger Gandolfini.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. What do you think of Peter Stormare's comments here that Keanu Reeves is not happy with the Constantine 2 script? Should Peter Stormare be speaking for Keanu Reeves in this situation and the script for Constantine 2? I know he plays the devil and all, but
is he Stormare?
Is he? What?
Stormare here.
Yeah.
I don't actually know how to pronounce it, but I've always said Peter Stormare throughout my whole life.
Right.
Should he be speaking for Keanu? I guess not.
Yeah.
Listen, let me speak for Keanu, even though I shouldn't. This movie's never happening. This is not real. There's no Constantine 2. Don't worry about it, guys. Don't care. Don't worry about who's okay with the script, who's not. They're never paying for this.
Whoa.
Yeah, a ridiculous thing. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Brainiac.
Oh, wow. Okay, we're back to this. Yeah.
It's back up.
All right.
Brainiac,
Time code is going to be crazy on
Is
this. Go ahead.
Brainiac someone who was cast a year ago?
Ooh.
Or was he someone who's relatively like who came in at the end of the process to record some lines?
Ooh,
Like you
that's a
don't
great
actually
question.
see like a face, like he's AI, he's CGI, whatever the fuck.
Right, right.
Because right, let me
Okay.
just throw this out there.
All right. Flesh it out.
Who was supposed to be in the DC universe and wasn't? He got replaced. And that's Sergeant Rock.
Oh, Daniel Craig. You think Daniel Craig could play Brainiac?
What about Daniel Craig as Brainiac? Because if you're telling me this guy, he's as cold as ice, right? Brainiac, fucking James Bond is cold as ice.
So, yeah, that's a great point. So maybe they were like, well, we're going to replace you on Sergeant Rock.
Right.
Because this is going to be a more prestigious role. And you're going to
I don't know if it is more prestigious or not, but if it's like, okay, if that decision was made months ago, I don't know how many months ago Colin came in to replace Daniel Craig, but if at that point and it coincided with, hey, we're looking for someone to come in and just voice this character, and it's going to have more importance down the line. I wonder if they're like, okay, well, we just want Daniel as part of the DCU in some capacity.
Huh. I think that's very possible. Ooh, that is very possible, right? Because I mean, you could use him in that way, and I mean prestigious because maybe they're planning Brainiac to be the villain in the second Superman movie, maybe versus both him and Batman if they're going to do a World's Finest thing. So if you're Daniel Craig, do I play the lead in a little-known character that is way down the line of importance on DC? Or do I play Brainiac, which has never fully had a theatrical presence on screen as a villain in the Superman movie, like overall? So, I mean, I would rather take the Brainiac role, to be honest.
I mean, I don't know. He's obviously very busy. He's going to be shooting Narnia. He's got the Damien Chazelle prison flick now, and yeah, he is on the older side. But if the character is AI or CGI, whatever, I don't know, whatever the fuck it is,
Yeah.
If he doesn't need to be there. Anyways, we can move on from Brainiac.
Okay. Bits and Bobs, Sinners 2 is in the works, according to Production Weekly. Do you buy it or not? It's supposedly in development. Do you accept this?
Again, is it called Development Weekly? It's called Production Weekly.
You have to get the production through development. So I mean,
but it's like they put listings in Production Weekly when something's going. Right. When there's like a date in mind. There's no script. There's nothing here. This is like such nonsense. I'm sorry. And I've been meaning to reach out to Warner Brothers to get an official comment on it, but no. I mean, do I think Sinners 2 is an inevitability? Sure. Yeah. But is it at the stage where it belongs in Production Weekly? No. And I don't believe that anyone submitted a listing to Production Weekly. Anyone legitimate submitted a production, because it's like, why would you break the news that way? Why do we continue to think of Production Weekly as like a news breaking source?
I don't know, Jeff, but a number of sites do.
They're good with start dates, right? When they're hiring crew and the crew is told, hey, we need people in Atlanta for April. Right. That's when I believe Production Weekly. But I don't really think any major news is coming out of it. And that's why, even though I knew I was riling up the internet when I did it, when I posted that Batman 2 listing without Matt Reeves, it was like, who gives a shit? Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get to the big portion of the show. Let's do it here. And that's this conversation. Let's have it, Jeff. Let's have this conversation. So according to reports this week from other sites that conveniently forgot that back in January, I broke this on the hot mic. The Hulk will be appearing in Spider-Man 4 and The Punisher. The rumors are The Punisher will also be appearing, according to Mark Millar, who recently did an interview. So some of you may be asking, well, what's the proof? Well, I clipped out the clip. It's about 2 minutes. I'm going to play it now so we have a foundation from which to talk about this. Here we go.
So I am, if there is truth to these World War Hulk rumors, I think they make sense because I do think Hulk needs to be used more.
Yeah.
What do you think about Hulk? Are you hearing anything?
Yeah. So I got the okay to go with this. So from the person who gave me this information. So
this episode is already big enough.
So strap in. But from what I hear from one of my sources, who's a very strong source in the business, someone who's connected, by the way, this is not just some PA on the set. There's someone who is connected in the business. He told me that the plan for Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man movie, was Spider-Man fighting the Hulk with the Punisher. So it was going to be ground-based, but he was going to fight the Hulk because Marvel wants to move away from the intelligent Hulk that we saw in the Avengers movies and make him much more of the a brutish Hulk, the violent Hulk, the rage Hulk. That was what that seems to be the approach they want to go in. And certainly we saw the Red Hulk in the trailers for Captain America Brave New World. Of course, obviously not the same Hulk, but that anger, that aggressiveness, they want to bring that back because a lot of people have been complaining about intelligent Hulk. They want to bring back the Hulk that they like, which is this massive individual with anger and fighting and all of that. And so that was the original plan for now. Now, I don't know if it's changed. I remember I don't know if that's what Tom Holland was reading and jumping around with Zendaya in his room excited about, because we know it's going back into rewrites. I don't know if they're rewriting the whole thing, but that was the plan that they told me about here a couple of weeks ago, that was what Marvel wanted to do. And that was the threesome they were going to have in the Spider-Man movie. Now we know Punisher is coming back, Jeff. So, I think it was last week or earlier this week, it was out there that Marvel is considering doing a season of the Punisher to mirror what they did with Daredevil Born Again, to bring Bernthal back to play the character in a season of television as opposed to the movies. So having him with the Hulk and Spider-Man in a ground-based Spider-Man movie, that would be fantastic is what I said there. So there you go. There, January 9th, okay? And I said that it could be that they rewrote all this kind of stuff, but that was what I was told was going to be in Spider-Man 4, right? And I gave myself the out by saying, well, they might be this might be the original or the script, and then they're going to rewrite all of it. So I'm just putting it out there that this had already been reported. All right, go ahead, Jeff. Yes.
I mean, hats off to you, cowboy. What do you make of these rumors that Nicole Kidman has been offered that female villain role?
I think it's very possible. I like the idea. But who is the female villain that she's going to play? That's the question. Because Jeff, at this point now, we're getting overstuffed, which is what was the problem sometimes with these Spider-Man movies under Sony, right? Now we've got rumored 3 villains plus Mr. Negative plus the Nicole Kidman character. Now you've got Hulk. Now you've got Punisher and Spider-Man. And it's like, even more so, these narratives that people are upset about with Spider-Man, like, why can't he just have his own movie? Why do you have to overstuff it or bring people in from the MCU to constantly hold his hand through movies? Why don't you trust Tom Holland to lead a Spider-Man movie with just one villain or just 2 villains at the most? Why don't they do that? But now it feels completely overstuffed.
I mean, there haven't really been any like official announcements other than, I guess, Sadie Sink joining. But
yeah,
all these movies always feel overstuffed. And it's contractual, right? Like, Sony is entitled to one of those characters. So you really think Sony's going to be like, actually, we're good. We think Tom Holland can hold his own alone and doesn't need Hulk. Like, if Hulk's going to add to the bottom line, in their opinion, of course they're going to utilize that option. So I think it's a big, that's a big part of it. And it may just be that there's not a lot of other space for Hulk in the MCU. I mean, he has a role in Doomsday and everything,
right?
But they don't want to give him his own movie because Universal, with the rights are all entangled, and Universal would have to be a participant on that film.
Right.
Marvel gets 25% of these Spider-Man movies, so they want the Spider-Man movies to succeed, so they can get the biggest chunk. If it's like, is 25% of a Spider-Man movie basically what you'd make on Thunderbolts? Potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, Thunderbolts did sound, Jordan, to his credit, did say that it would lose like $100 million theatrically, which is like no joke. Now, at the end of the day, with ancillary revenues, just like with Sinners, I think that Thunderbolts will ultimately like break even, basically. But there's no question that from a theatrical perspective, it's a failure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've seen the numbers here, and it's only like has beaten out the Marvels, and I think one other movie.
Doctor Strange 2
Doctor
opened
Strange.
to more money than Thunderbolts has made domestically thus far.
Yeah.
And that's a sign of a regression.
Yeah.
So even though people liked it, and for some reason, Marvel rushed to give Jake, what's his name? Jake Schreier. The directing job on X-Men. I don't think that movie. I don't get it. I don't get it. It did not perform well. So I think that these Marvel movies need major characters like Hulk in order to reach the same financial levels that they used to.
Yeah, Thunderbolts has made $357 million in its fourth week in the theater total, which is above Hulk's $265 million and the Marvel's $199.7 million. Thunderbolts can still reach Captain America: First Avengers $357.4 million and Black Widow's $370.5 million, but it won't even surpass Eternals $401 million, Jeff. And that you could argue for Eternals had even a less of a known cast, maybe overall, with none of those characters having been in other MCU films and getting some pretty bad reviews. And
that
still
movie again, it's all about timing. So the MCU's on a cold streak right now, and so Thunderbolts wasn't the movie that was going to turn that around.
True.
Eternals, I think, got to it to the 400 mark, as bad as it was, or as irrelevant as it was, because it came during a time when the MCU was thriving.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I mean, if again, I gave myself the out on rewriting, they possibly rewrote it, but it seems like they didn't. It seems very clear that the script that they were looking at, from what I'd heard from way back in January, is still basically the script they're going with in terms of some of the characters with Hulk and Punisher. And from what I understand, it is going to be a wild or a savage Hulk that will be a part of this, because as I said in that clip, they desperately want to bring that back. So I would not be surprised if they intimate or hint that, or there's references or interviews to that.
Again, the problem with all of this, and the problem with you, not that there's a problem with you doubling down or taking credit for it as you should, is that none of this has been confirmed by a trade.
100%. Yeah.
Right. This report comes from Nexus Point News. Now, Nexus has had some good breaks, just like World of Real. They're on the rise. You have to keep an eye on what Nexus is posting. But at the same time, I don't know what their level, what makes it postable, right? And so I know I've seen so many grids, which I don't see grids anymore. I suspect that a lot of these people are seeing grids. And that's where the information's coming from. And there are so many times I see fake grid listings. And so I don't know if they're getting their confirmation from a bullshit log line in a grid, in an agency casting grid.
Right.
I have no idea. And it's because none of these people, right, no matter who it is at Nexus or any of the Cosmic, whatever, or Marvel DCU fan page, or, whatever, that none of these people have ever worked inside a real newsroom, most likely.
That's true. Yeah.
Not to say that they're fake, they're working in fake newsrooms, but they're not former trade reporters. I don't know what the standard of journalism is. And so I would just take everything that, with a grain of salt, unless it's coming from the trades, or, there's certainly things that I post that are like, ooh, that's wishy-washy, or that can go either way. But I at least know where my shit comes from. I don't know where their shit comes from.
Yeah. That's a fair point. I had to get okay. All right. Just wanted to clarify that. So, okay. There you go. All right. All right. So we'll see what happens with that. And I'm not trying to come after anybody. I'm just trying to I wanted to clarify. I rarely get to scoop anything on this show. Jeff is the king of scoops. I don't come near his territory. But if I hear something, because I do this show and I have friends in the business, I am going to talk about it. And I'd like it if people gave credit where credit is deserved. I know we want to run with the bigger websites or the bigger names, and they can obviously crush me because I don't have a big following or big number of subscribers on my YouTube channel. But out of personal courtesy, I asked that I be credited, and some have. Den of Nerds, Josh over there, he credited me. Other people credited me, but some other people.
Did you see where you got credited, baby? The Sneider. Who cares about being credited anywhere else? I'm the official record. Okay.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
Yes, I made sure to give you a shout out, Johnny. And hopefully, I want to see more of the Hulk. I love the Punisher character. Yeah. I hope that this is the right description. As for Nicole Kidman, obviously I'd heard Sarah Snook.
Right?
Maybe Sarah Snook didn't prove to be big enough for them.Nicole Kidman to me is a very Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio kind of casting.
Yeah,
and she's a great actress, an Oscar winner. She's just been doing a ton of TV shows lately. Maybe she's looking for a big movie to be a part of. I don't know.
Right.
It seems like she'd probably be a bigger get than Sarah Snook. Certainly more recognizable around the world. So I have no idea if it's true or not. That could be another grid pull. And that's the thing. It's just like how many people have sources who are telling them something, and how many people have sources where they're just reading off a document.
Right, 100%. The other part of this is also like you look at the way they construct this and how they roll this out and where it's going to go and all of that. So we'll see as it goes along what the end result of that's going to be. All right, do we want to jump into our top 10, or do you want to hit a couple more stories before we roll into that?
Let's talk about did you end up going to the movies this afternoon?
I did not go, but so go give your review, because I looked at the trailers were going to take 30 minutes. I called the theater and they're like, oh yeah, ours is 30 to 35 minutes. So I wouldn't have made it back in time, because I know that there's a post-credit scene, so I didn't want to miss that.
There's a post-credit scene?
You didn't stay?
No.
There's a post-credit scene.
I gotta look now.
The Karate Kid Legends, at the end of Karate Kid Legends. But anyway,
at the end of the credits, like the very end of the credits.
Yes.
Okay, because I saw the Johnny scene.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
Is that what you're getting at, or
no? It was a post-credit scene, is what I was told. I haven't seen it. So
all right. The movie was okay. It was not a disaster. It was definitely uneven and messy. The first half of the movie is about him training Joshua Jackson for a boxing match.
Yeah.
What? I came to see the Karate Kid with Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio. Why am I watching Pacey boxing? It's a very strange thing. That said, once Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio are in it, and it's weird because the first half actually may work better than the second half, just like as a movie. Forget that you're watching a Karate Kid movie, just in terms of like better storytelling. The second half, finally, he takes he gets two mentors and Daniel San and Mr. Han or whatever. The kid's a winner. Ben Wang's a winner, and that's the thing. He keeps the movie watchable. Right. To me, the problem with the movie, I mean, it does feel very rushed. It's like an hour and a half long, if that. And there's a Spider-Versification of the movie. That is not part of the first half. The first half feels very kind of natural and grounded, and then the second half, it's like, we got to slap all these fucking graphics on and make it look like half of it's like an anime movie or something. It's like, it was it's a weird movie. I gave it a B-, and I was probably being a little generous with it. I just think that I like the performance. I like Josh Jackson. I like Ben Wang and Sadie Stanley from the Goldberg. She's the love interest. I love Jackie Chan. I wanted more of Jackie Chan. Right. But
I've heard that they're in less than 30 minutes of the movie combined.
That's about right. About right. So,
and it's only a 90-minute film. So, which is really shocking. I thought it would be like an hour and 50, hour 55.
The fight stuff just doesn't have the impact that it should. Like there's none of that. Like, stick to the original. All right. That has like real emotion behind it. Even if it's a little cheesy. Right. This, I don't think that Jonathan Entwistle was the right director for this.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. There's your mini review from Jeff Sneider on Karate Kid Legends. I will be going tomorrow, so I'll probably have a review at some point in the day tomorrow or on Saturday. Anything? Oh, this just broke, Jeff, just recently. Oh, this is something that, not broke, but Daniel RPK reporting this. Hunter Schaefer reportedly being eyed to play Princess Zelda in the live-action Legend of Zelda film. Do you buy this? Does this make sense? I mean, looking at the side-by-side picture, I kind of can see it. What do you think?
I love that.
Yeah.
I think she's a very good actress. Even though I couldn't stand Cuckoo. I thought she was good in it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm a little surprised just because like you'd think that Link would be the first person announced, but if they like for sure know who they want for Princess Zelda,
Right.
and it's Hunter. Given not that she's asked to represent an entire community, but given what she does represent for some people, I think it's wonderful.
Yeah. And look, she said she's done playing. Though they said they're done playing those kinds of roles, right?
Oh.
And so
does Hunter go by they, them, or she?
I think so. So I'm trying to default in case I get in trouble for it. So
forgive me if I was wrong on that.
No. I'm defaulting because I don't know. So I wanted to make sure, but I know that. Yeah, I think so, because they were the ones who got upset, right, when they got classified in the new Trump order that they had to be classified as either male or female, and they weren't happy about it. So I do think they do go by that. So, but anyway, it said they didn't want to play these kinds of just be identified as only this, right? So I think this is a great way to kind of establish and break out of it to be the lead of this massive live action adaptation. I love that idea. So I think it's great as well. Anything more that is really a big deal we should hit on that we didn't discuss, Jeff? Do you care about the Ryan Reynolds pitching an R-rated Star Wars film? Do you care about the box office?
That's not going anywhere. That's a nice story to tell the kids.
This one? Yep. Okay. Well, what about the box office here? How quickly will a Stitch get $1 billion, my man? Is this completely?
I mean, I don't know if it'll hit $1 billion. It's going to come real close.
You don't think?
I think I pegged it at like 900 million or so.
Right.
I mean, we'll see. I don't know that word of mouth has been amazing, but it's all about what options are available to kids. Elio's out in mid-June. Yeah,
Elio's out in a couple weeks. Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to be a big performer for Pixar or anything. But at the same time, that's going to be the movie that you take the kids to over Lilo and Stitch. It's funny. I've heard Lilo and Stitch is maybe a little scary for some people. Like my niece didn't want to see it because she's scared of Stitch.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. It might be a little too scary for some of the youngins.
A little too scary.
Box office, though, I mean, like it obviously did phenomenally well. And even though Mission Impossible, posted the highest number in opening number in its franchise, like with inflation, I don't know if you did the numbers with inflation and everything. I don't know if that record still holds.
Do you think it's fool's gold that they have like one good weekend, but then the subsequent weekends are going to be like cratering?
I do think that. And this is one of the most expensive movies of all time. No one's even like, I don't even sense a pushback from Paramount when people are writing like more than $400 million just with production, not with marketing either.
Right.
Like I don't even sense Paramount being angered by that. If this movie did cost $400 million plus marketing, like that's a fucking astounding amount of money, and they are going to lose a lot.
Wow. What about Bring Her Back? Did you get a chance to see that? The Philippine brother?
I was not a fan.
Okay. All right.
This was pretty disappointing, I thought, as a follow-up to Talk to Me. It felt like a first film.
Oof. Okay.
Sally Hawkins is good, though.
I'd heard that they might be in talks with a big studio for something next. Did you see that? Do you think that's true?
Oh, that report that they'd met with Marvel or whatever?
Yeah. I mean, Marvel meets with everybody at this point.
Yeah, the speculation was that, they could be eyed to direct like a Midnight Suns movie, which I do think will happen eventually. I still think that a Blade solo movie would happen first. But I imagine that they're thinking about Midnight Suns, especially given how well horror has performed. Like a movie that's a little bit darker and nastier and bloodier. I think that would probably serve Marvel well.
And you talked about Ghost Rider possibly being in Avengers Doomsday. So, yeah, that would make sense.
Yes, that is what I heard, that they're looking for Ghost Rider. So.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to get into our top 10 Wes Anderson movies, and then we'll answer your questions on the other side. So if you haven't sent anything, any Streamlabs or Super Chats, do it now. Send in your love and support for the show here. It's pinned in the chat. You see it above Jeff's head there with the Streamlabs, and that's the deal. So, Jeff, what do you say? Phoenician Scheme. All right, let's talk about it. Top 10 Wes Anderson movies. The Phoenician Scheme is coming out next week. You're going to see it tonight. This is just a sample of the movies on the resume of Wes Anderson as director. I struggled to get to 10, but I got there eventually. So this is going to be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, I don't love all. I mean, there's going to be movies I just don't like on this top 10 because I don't think he's made 10 bangers. But, for me, it's really, I mean, do you want to just do the top 5? Like, do you want to? You tell me.
How about top 8? How about top 8? Would that work for you?
I mean, we'll just do a top 10
right,
then,
we'll
so
do
that we
10.
can have the argument over which movie is his worst.
Okay.
All right. First of all, is there a movie that you feel strongly should be number one?
Yes. The
What?
Grand Budapest Hotel. I think that is his greatest achievement as a filmmaker, writer, and director, period.
I think that is an insane opinion.
What else is new? What else?
That is a very mid-tier effort for me.
You're insane, and someone hit you on the head with a brick. It's clear. It's clear.
What is your number two?
My number two is Rushmore.
Okay, well, my number two is also Rushmore.
So
I feel like for the purposes of this conversation, we may have to put Rushmore at number one.
Oh,
if we both have it at two,
that's
and I'm like, over my dead body, will I allow Grand Budapest Hotel to be number one on this list? Simply not going to happen. Not on my watch.
If you have Bottle Rocket on your list, I'm just at number one. I'm just going to turn off the show.
I don't. No, I have it below Budapest.
Oh, thank God. Yeah. Okay.
My number one is the Royal Tenenbaums.
Oh, yeah, that's my number three. That's my number three.
So you would definitely put Rushmore over Tenenbaums?
I would. I think to me, that is, how can I say this? That is Wes Anderson distilled in its purest form, is Rushmore. It's like the Reservoir Dogs for Quentin Tarantino. Like, that is just the film I connect to him the most. And I think before more money got involved, before the studio, before his chances to bring in bigger actors, you got to see who he was. Rushmore, I think, is the most authentic film that shows you who Wes Anderson really is. And so that's why I like it and put it up as high as I do. More than Tenenbaums.
I do love Rushmore, but I love Royal Tenenbaums more. I just like Rushmore is about like it's like a movie about a kid who has a crush on his teacher. Like it's kind of just unrealistic. Two men who really have no chance of being with this woman. And Royal Tenenbaums, I just love the idea of like a father faking an illness to have his family, like, because he's just always so manipulative, and like have his family rally around him when he has ulterior motives. I think that's the richer work, so that's why I put it over Rushmore.
Wow.
Okay.
See, I can denigrate just as you just denigrated Rushmore, because I mean the point is,
what do you have against Tenenbaums?
I mean, it's just a bunch of it's a rich white family. Oh, is it tough to be rich and white? Do you have depression? I can absolutely tear that up, minimalize that film as well, because they're all rich and they're just, oh, what are you mad about now? Oh, you missed a tennis match when you were trying to be a champion. Oh, does it suck? I mean, there's little things you can say to go after the film, but of course that would be offensive to the film, because there's a lot in the human experience that all of these characters go through, which is why it's my number three.
So, okay, I was going to say, where do you have it? Okay, so you have it at number three.
Oh, yeah, I love the film. I respect the film so much. I just think I just think the Paltrow stuff gets a bit pretentious, and the Owen Wilson stuff irritates me at times, but the other stuff is great. And I think one of my favorite scenes is when him and Ben Stiller go at it in the closet with the games over him taking their sons Royal taking his sons around. It's such a great scene, but also by the way it ends, fathers are fucked up sometimes. And how do you come to terms with it by the end? And I love that as an ending for the movie. So yeah, it's a damn good movie. I just think Budapest, that's just more for me because I'm a cinephile and I love what he does with the camera in that movie and the places he goes. And I think Ralph Fiennes is exceptional in that film, and Tony Revolori as well. So that's why I love it.
For the purpose of this conversation, let's put Rushmore at number one.
Yes, we just said that. Yes, okay. Rushmore number one.
So you have Tenenbaums at three. I have it at one.
Right. So it has to go two.
The highest I could put Budapest on a list is 5.
That's nonsense.
I have it at 6. I could budge to 5, but like
that's nonsense. That's nonsense. Come on.
Well, I mean, we'll see if we can move it up to 3 or 4 based on what you have. But for now, let's do Royal Tenenbaums at number 2.
Yes, agreed. Tenenbaums at 2, Rushmore at 1.
So, you're trying to get Budapest on. My 3 and 4 are Moonrise Kingdom and Darjeeling Limited. So how do you feel about those movies?
Darjeeling Limited is maybe the worst film he's ever done. I have never finished it. They're so pretentious with their ridiculous dialogue with each other on that trip. Borderline offensive at times. I 100% think Moonrise Kingdom is my number 4. I love Moonrise Kingdom. To be honest with you, that's probably my favorite Wes Anderson movie as Moonrise Kingdom. And when people come for that movie, an anger builds inside of me that I can't explain. Like, I don't understand people coming after that movie. It is such a beautifully pure movie about young love and the beginnings of young love and all of that goes with it. And maybe these kids have never fallen in love, and that's why they became these bitter movie critics. I don't know. But for me, that new Moonrise Kingdom is a beautiful movie, and I love it.
I also love Moonrise Kingdom. So here's the concession I'll give you.
Okay. All right.
If we put Moonrise at 3, I will make Grand Budapest 4.
Okay, done. I can accept this. I appreciate your
right. That's up from 6 on my list.
Your magnanimous approach to this.
Okay, I think you're crazy about Darjeeling, though.
Not even on my list.
I have 2 brothers, so I am one of 3 brothers, and I could really relate to it. Do you have siblings?
I do have a sibling. I have 2. I have a sister and a brother. I haven't spoken to my brother in 30 years, but my sister and I talk all the time. So
fair enough.
Right.
All right. Well, then let me add. Okay. So how do you feel about Life Aquatic? Where is that on your list?
Life Aquatic is 8 for me, mostly because a lot of it really doesn't work, and it's more about the personality of Bill Murray in that role than it is about it actually working. Some of the Owen and Kate Blanchett stuff is just like, what? It's a little
okay.
weird.
Well, like at 5, 6, I'd go Darjeeling, Life Aquatic. But what are you having at? What would you put at 5?
I have Fantastic Mr. Fox at 5. How the hell is that not high up on your? Do you hate anime? Oh, it's because you hate animation. It's been very clear that you hate animation.
I don't hate animation. I have 2 animated movies on my list.
Okay.
But are we really going to say it's better than fucking Darjeeling, Life Aquatic, and Bottle Rocket?
100%. Bottle Rocket's my number 10. Like that barely made my list.
That's fine. That's fine. I can put Fox over Bottle Rocket, but like, I can't get you to budge on either one of these on well, Darjeeling or Life Aquatic.
I will not give you Darjeeling, but I will get over, as you said, over my dead body. But
all right. Then how about this?
I can concede on Aquatic. Go ahead.
Let's go with Aquatic at 5, and then I'll give you Mr. Fox at 6.
That's a fair point.
All right, 5 Aquatic, 6 Fox. All right, now we're at 7.
I've never done a top 10 like this. I love this. This is not like Matt.
The art of negotiation. We are coming up with a definitive top 10. Okay?
Well, we're going from the beginning down, which is really an interesting way to go. All right, go ahead.
Yes, 7. Okay, so 7. Again, I still have Darjeeling Limited. You're saying that's down at the bottom for you.
I might not even make the list.
That's crazy. What is next on your list?
Well, you're not gonna like it.
What?
Isle of Dogs. You're not gonna like it.
That would be. I mean, if it's not Darjeeling and not Bottle Rocket, then I have Isle of Dogs as well.
You do? Oh, great.
Yes. I have it above. So the movies that I can't stand are like French Dispatch, Asteroid City. Those are like,
oh God,
no.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, well then maybe we can stick Darjeeling in. Let's do Isle of Dogs, and how about Darjeeling after that? Can you accept that?
Can I get you to reverse that order? And we're still putting Isle of Dogs over Bottle Rocket.
Yeah, it's true. Fine. All right, fine. Darjeeling. Right. Maybe 7. I need to see it again because I walked out of the theater.
You didn't even finish it.
30 minutes in, I was like, this is nonsense.
All right. Darjeeling is 7. Isle of Dogs is 8. I have to go Bottle Rocket at 9.
Okay, that's fine. I have it at 10, so that's fine.
So then what movie do you have that we haven't?
The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar and the 3 More. Like that whole, I qualified that. It's an hour and a half if you put all the stories together, and they released them separately and then also as a whole movie. So, and I think it's some of the best work he's ever done. I really enjoy those little vignettes. So
I'm okay. Then that's the concession I'll give you. I didn't have it on because I prefer just like a one narrative. So I had Asteroid City at 10, but I can't really stand Asteroid City. I did think about the wonderful story, which was okay. I didn't love it, but I suppose I like the individual parts more than Asteroid City and French Dispatch. So let's do that. Let's do 10 wonderful stories. So our top 10
here we go
is Rushmore, The Royal Tenenbaums, Moonrise Kingdom.
Sorry, going from 1 to 10. Jeff
1 to 10. Yeah. Rushmore's 1, Royal Tenenbaums 2, Moonrise Kingdom is 3, Grand Budapest Hotel is 4, The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou is number 5. Number 6 is Fantastic Mr. Fox. 7, Darjeeling Limited. 8, Isle of Dogs. 9, Bottle Rocket. And 10, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar.
There you go. There you go.
There's our Wes Anderson. Clip it and put it on the internet, baby.
I will. Even though our Tom Cruise didn't even break 1,000 views, which broke my heart. But I will absolutely clip this out. And
that's because everybody watched the big picture. The big pictures Tom Cruise draft. We got to have categories.
Hilarious. John D said, John, try to leave the white hate at home for one day. I'm literally hosting a show with a white man. What the fuck is wrong with you idiots? Oh my God. All right. So there you go. That's our countdown of the top 10 Wes Anderson movies. That was a lot of fun. And yeah, like we said, the Phoenician Scheme is out next week. It's already getting good, but kind of mixed reviews. So I hope I land in the positive because Isle of Dogs got mixed reviews and I love that movie. So I hope I like Phoenician Scheme, but we will see. And a couple of new actors being a part of his world, Jeff, which I have not seen in a Wes Anderson film either. But as long as it's not French Dispatch, sweet Jesus, I was so disappointed by that. All right, let's get into some questions, Jeff. Let's get through these and send them in if you haven't already, people, because we're going to run through these. Momra says, thoughts on a new Paul Rubens doc on Max and his life. I'm watching it this weekend, Jeff. Have you seen the 2-part doc yet?
Haven't seen it, but my dad loved it of all people. He
cool.
recommended it. I did not think he would go for something like that.
Right.
When I saw the trailer, I thought it looked really good. But yeah, I have not seen it yet.
Each of them is an hour and 40 minutes, each of the episodes. So I'm really excited to see
Paul Rubens, but okay. It's a 3-hour and 20-minute Paul Rubens documentary. I mean, it's
true.
like
it's true.
I went with it when it was Gary Shandling. I don't know.
Right. Or what was it, the Gene Wilder? Oh, no, it's Steve Martin one that was 2 parts on, I think.
I actually didn't watch that one.
Oh, okay. Marcus Cisneros says, Jeff, define woke. Did you say something about woke the other day or something?
This came in at the start of the show. I'm not sure. Listen,
Okay.
I'm the kind of person who doesn't really use woke in articles or whatever. It's not really part of my vocabulary, but if I had to define it, I think it's just things based on people's skin color or the sexuality or whatever, and not based on merit.
Yeah, whereas woke, I see woke as, not that you asked, Marcus, but woke is more a matter of being aware of the inequalities that are systemic in our society towards people of color, LGBTQ plus women, and what have you. So
it's not about being aware. It's about doing something with the awareness.
Right, fair point. Yes, exactly. Yes. Hopefully something positive. Dennis Hoffman says, let's fucking go. Fellas, saw Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. I'm sad to agree with Jeff on this one. And Haley Atwell. McHugh dropped the ball with her in the first hour. Do hope deeper happens. Dug that script. I know Max Landis. You know Max Landis? Okay.
So do I.
I don't know if I would say that out loud, but okay. Yeah, sure.
I have no problem with it. I think Max is a decent guy who's turned his life around.
He has? Okay, well then if he has, then never mind. I put that consternation away. Maybe we should have Max on the show. Fredtastic says that I would love to have Max Landis on the show. These are the things we need to be bringing on guests like that.
I'll ask him if you're open to it. I'll ask him.
Come on. A 20-minute hit with any guest we want to bring on would be a lot of fun for the show. Fredtastic 314 says, if the Harry Potter rights become available, could other studios throw their hats in the ring and could it reach $10 billion? That's a great point, Jeff. Would she open it up to other studios to take it? Like Apple would immediately be like, give me everything. But then they'd have to start all over again, Jeff, right?
I mean, depending on what they want to do. I still think that the play, I don't know why, leaving aside the casting and her views and all that stuff, I don't know why you're making a Harry Potter series. Like that's, the fans want to see the trio back. They want to see the OGs. And that to me is the play. So I don't know why we're introducing a young Harry Potter when I still think that there's fuel in the tank for the old Harry Potter.
Right.
And if I bought this franchise, like that would be the first play.
What? The Curse of the was.
I think that's why they're not coming back. Like it's those three have sort of said we're not coming back because of her, right?
Right. Yes, 100%. And she kind of took shots at them passive aggressively on Twitter as well, which was really fucking ridiculous. Plethoric says, hey guys, if it's true that they're developing other Batman spinoff ideas, how does this affect DCU Batman and other Bat family characters? Bro, I don't put any stock in anything anybody says until after Superman comes out. Literally, you can say whatever the fuck they want, but until Superman comes out, none of this stuff is real.
Yeah, I'm just like so over it.
Yeah.
Which I think should be Warner Brothers' biggest fear.
Yeah,
you,
that you're over
you
it.
have a captive audience, and now that the audience is just like, whatever, do what you're gonna do.
Fine. Trash Panda says, any truth to the Bryan Cranston as Professor X rumor? Also, Cranston on shrooms at CinemaCon in the last 2 episodes of the studios was comedic gold. I 100% agree. That was an amazing ending. I know Jeff didn't like the back half. Me and you disagree about that as well. So I loved it.
Because it is, as someone who occasionally dabbles in drug use, it is not interesting to watch someone be on drugs. That's what every Seth Rogen thing is just, I'm so fucked up, man. Look at all the crazy shit I'm getting into. Like, that to me takes away from the specialness and uniqueness of the studio.
Yeah.
I thought it descended into drug level party antics, and it just stopped being as smart. Like, you're not going to be as smart when all your characters are on drugs.
But isn't that the point? Because there are these smart people who do insanely crazy shit, even at the highest levels of a studio in Hollywood. God knows how many stories there are about people you would be super surprised to know are huge drug addicts or have had a huge night of drug-induced.
I assume everybody is. Shit. Like, I don't know if I'd be surprised.
What do you think about Cranston as Professor X? Believable, not believable, too old?
Strikes me as, Cranston versus Denzel as Magneto would be great. I think he'd be a great Professor X. I just don't know what they're envisioning. But it seems like Cranston has his superhero eligibility, right?
Yeah. And I agree. I'm not trying to say Cranston is too old to play the role. I'm saying they might be thinking that he's too old for the role they want to cast in their version of the X-Men. But I would love him as Professor X.
Certainly looks good with the shaved head.
Yeah. Connor Przalomski says, hey, Jeff, is Pattinson still confirmed to be in Dune? Have the trades confirmed it yet?
The trades reported it, so.
Yeah, there you go.
Seems
all right,
like
SJC360. Heard there was Fantastic Four test screening. Any info you can discuss? Yeah, Jeff, have you heard anything on Fantastic Four test screenings?
I'm going to plan to write about it in the newsletter, yeah. Heard some things here and there.
Nice.
Right, I'm not trying to spoil movies for anybody, but again, it's about setting expectations. And so I think I'll be setting those shortly.
Also, SJC's 360 says, Jason Statham is Brainiac, you bloke. Yeah, I could see that. No, I couldn't see that, actually.
No, I can't do that either.
John Ashford says, evening, gents. Any word about the gun comment that Peacemaker will have a, quote, really, really, really big surprise?
What does that mean? I don't know. I guess it's a surprise, so we're not supposed to know what that means. Does it mean Superman is in?
I kind of feel like Superman, right? He talks so much shit about Superman in season 1, and Corin Sweat's not at that level where he could be like, I don't do that. You could totally get Corin Sweat to do a cameo or do a few scenes with him.
Is there someone, when we say really, really, really big, there's only 3 people you can be talking about, right?
Yeah.
Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. So I guess it's that.
Yeah.
I still think Booster Gold is looming.
Okay. Matt Sister McCall, do you think Kevin Spacey should be allowed to make a comeback in Hollywood? I don't know every detail about the case. Jeff, any news on Paddington 4?
Allowed to make a comeback? Should he be who would disallow him?
Right.
I don't know. I think it's complicated. I think he's wildly talented. This guy's a 2-time Oscar winner. It's all about whether the audience is willing to accept him back. That's the only thing that matters. They're the customers.
Yeah.
So we'll see if any of these little shit movies that he's doing strike a chord with anybody. I don't really see anything on his docket that I'm like, oh, that's gonna pop. But
yeah,
we'll see.
You're only allowed to make a comeback if the public wants you to make a comeback. So this being allowed is irrelevant to the situation. If the public wants him to come back, as we saw with Mel Gibson, then the public will tell you they want him to come back by going to the movies and going to his movies. And so, yes, everyone's allowed to do whatever they want to do. Will it get over? That's a whole nother ballgame. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
The weird thing is, I hear Kevin Spacey is going to be in Paddington 4.
I'll tell you this. That's how you get yourself redeemed, is to be in these franchises and maybe being the butt of those franchises, people immediately start to like you again. You know, these defiant speeches of him, I think, are not helping at all.
Can he play the hero again, or is he doomed to a life of villainry?
It all depends on him, because he refuses to concede anything. So, and giving these defiant speeches like he did at Con, that doesn't help. I think if he just came out and was like, you know what, I'd like to come back and do this again. This was some of the best times of my life, and I hope Hollywood gives me a chance. I hope the public gives me a chance. And what happened. We've settled it. The courts are done with it. I hope that's enough for people. But I'd like to be seen as just an actor. It's not that fucking hard. But his pride is what's making him be defiant. And people have always spoke about his healthy opinion of himself. And that's what you're seeing. And I think that's going to bar him from making a full comeback.
I think the other problem, not that Majors, didn't have other reports that came out, but like,
right.
It's with Spacey, it wasn't an isolated incident. He was sort of seen as like a predator, and his co-stars talk shit too. It wasn't just like someone where there was a clear power imbalance. There were people on the set, other celebrities, who were like, I didn't fuck with that guy. So I think that's a real issue.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Until he cops to it. Yeah. Alan Smithy.
What if Pattinson was the surprise at the end of Peacemaker?
As Batman? Now, I think Pattinson is the kind of guy who'd be like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that, as opposed to Corin Sweat. But maybe, could be. If you're announcing him as your Batman, that's weird. Alan Smithy, I better be seeing The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou in your top 10 lists. Hopefully in the top 5, not in the top 5. Don't be film snobs. It's way better than people give it credit for. Bill Murray plus weed plus Bowie. It certainly appeals to a certain kind of person, that film. And I may not be that person, so. SJC360, strategically on the Marvel movie plans, what was the point of Thunderbolts who you have greenlit it?
I mean, so what did Thunderbolts accomplish for the MCU?
Well, it's a good movie. It got reviewed well, which is not the case for some of the most recent stuff. So I think it accomplished that. And yes, it might not make any money, but I also think a lot of people liked it who went to see it. And we'll see when it goes to VOD or goes to Disney Plus. I think you're going to see the numbers skyrocket of the amount of people that watch it,
Well, I mean, naturally, but like, I obviously it brings together characters from Black Widow and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right? John Walker, creates that new team, and that I told you that team is going to be popping up throughout the MCU, I think, for years to come. Right. Since the OG Avengers, I think, will be moving on after Secret Wars. Yeah. So I think that is sort of what it accomplishes. But yeah, it feels like a bridge rather than like, a major movie. Yeah, agreed.
New Rockstars gave you guys credit too. Oh, that's cool.
I want to get on the New Rockstars show. Get me on there, guys. Yeah, they've reached out in the past.
Was it the Break Room or whatever? Like, is that New Rockstars the Break Room? I think.
I don't know.
They were like, somebody tweeted at me and said, well, they said you have a standing invitation. I go, oh, really? Because I had no idea we have a standing invitation. So you don't get to say on your show you have a standing invitation and then not invite the people that you say have a standing invitation to come on your show. You kind of have to read.
It's not slide into my DMs, New Rockstars.
Yeah, ditto. JC Mighty says, no question here, just shouting out my favorite 80s cop show, Rocha and the Sneider.
I think it would be Sneider and the Rocha, but okay.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
The Rocha sounds better than the Sneider.
I don't think so. The Sneider, everyone knows you as the Sneider. I don't know if you know that, but everyone says that.
Just be glad that the show's not called Jeff and the Fat Man.
True. That's true. I've lost 30 pounds. I can't qualify for that anymore.
I know. I'm just teasing you. For our younger viewers, there was a show called Jake and the Fat Man.
Jake and the Fat Man. Right. Yeah. With, I can't remember the guy's name. Yeah. Darren Leslie Jr. Give it to me straight, Dr. Snyder. Is Blade alive? Yeah. Is Blade alive or dead?
I think so. I mean, shit, you got to make other movies. You can't, right now Marvel is just focused on Avengers, and it's all Avengers and doing what they can to save Fantastic Four. But you can't just make one Avengers movie and call it a year. There's got to be other stuff, and I do think that Blade has to be part of those plans. Like, what other characters are we talking about doing?
Right, 100%.
Eventually, you'll crack it, and even if you don't crack it, like, there's been a lot of things that Marvel hasn't cracked, and they still made a movie and released it.
It's true. Great point. Oliver 3748 says, hey guys, what are y'all's thoughts on Sydney Sweeney teaming up with Dr. Squatch to sell soap with her bathwater in it? Kinda a sleigh, to be honest with you. If only my sweet Jacob Elordi would do this, they'd have my money. But in all seriousness, is this a good look for her personally? I think this is horrible. I know you probably think this is fun, but
I got 2 bars. I'm about to go take a shower with it after this show.
This is the weirdest thing ever, yet so perfect for our times. It's just so perfect for our times of mad influencers and people selling all kinds of crazy shit on TikTok and whatever, the TikTok shop. So her selling her bathwater in a soap format, I'm not surprised at all. And
no big deal. We already got Gwyneth Paltrow vagina candles.
Yeah, that's true.
There was an article, I believe, today in NME where they're doing Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina apparently has a very specific scent. They're doing a scratch and sniff record.
Oh my God, no!
I'm told. The NME, which is a legitimate site.
Oh my God, what is happening?
How do I get I don't know, like Snyder's balls nachos?
Yeah,
no. Like, these nachos taste like balls.
No one wants dude's balls smell. Come on, man. That's nasty.
Hey, speak for yourself.
Okay, fair point. Trash Panda, Royal Tenenbaums. Jeff, didn't you say the plight of rich people doesn't do it for you? Succession, the studio.
That is absolutely true. I'm not really interested in rich people problems, but I also aren't they like fake rich? Like,
no, they're real rich. They're real rich. What are you talking about?
I mean, I don't know. They wear red tracksuits and
he's in debt. Right, but they have.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think these are real rich people.
They have a name and wealth in New York society. Come on.
Plus, he's dying. So, or no, he's not dying.
He's not dying, Jeff.
Well, Scott said, my sympathy.
Another great show, Jeff. How do you feel about the rumors of Jaylen Brown on the trade block? I hate it. Looking forward to tonight's newsletter.
I mean, don't love it, but don't hate it either. I mean, we have to trim salary, you know. And if you're not going to win without Tatum this year, if he's gone all year,
it's gonna be tough.
Then why pay so much? Like, don't you want to try to get under whatever threshold it is, so that then we have more flexibility going forward once Tatum is back? I don't know. I don't know who we'd get for him. As long as the return was decent enough, I'm open to it. I think ideally you want to keep those two guys together, but that's tough.
Good point. Eddie Alidia says F4 really a bust? No one said that. I don't know what you're talking about. We'll find out in the newsletter. Wayne Edwards says, what's up, gents? I saw Mission Impossible on Monday afternoon in IMAX. Packed theater, by the way. The first hour and 15 minutes drag with nostalgia and callbacks. However, the rest of the movie is great. Thoughts? Well, I agree with you, Wayne, although I don't think it's as much of a drag as you think, because I like the callbacks. But Jeff clearly doesn't. If you want to hear our thoughts, we gave our full review of it last week on the show. But Jeff, anything we add to this?
I mean, I talked to obviously a lot more people who saw it this weekend. I think that they agreed that the first half was a little talky, but my brother liked it on the whole. Okay. I think it does seem to still be resonating with audiences. I think it got, what was its cinema score? Do you remember? I think it was an A or an A minus.
Probably an A minus,
which was higher than I expected. I thought the people would be a little bit more upset coming out. But hey, I mean, do you think
A minus? A minus.
Okay, it was A minus. Did you see the Chris McQuarrie interview on Happy, Sad, Confused?
Yeah, we couldn't get to it. I had it on the list of our rundown. Yeah, I did. And he talked about Top Gun 3. He talked about what else did he talk to? He talked about his pitch for Man of Steel 2. He talked about a lot of things. Why?
No, I just it was an interesting interview. I'd heard about his involvement with Top Gun 3 for months, although Paramount clarified after I tweeted that he's just consulting, that it's still Aaron Kruger is the credited writer, and that McQuarrie is simply consulting on the script. But I'm like, well, if you're consulting on the script, then you're writing the script, right? You're working on how that script, what is in that script, and all that. So I think it's more of like a political thing where they're trying not to have McHugh, Bigfoot, Aaron Kruger, or anything. I think Top Gun 3 will be a priority for Paramount, even if Mission Impossible underperforms. But I think that there's skepticism, right? Like, again, we talked about it last week with Warner Brothers not wanting to do deeper. And I don't know if that's just a matter of repeating a diving set piece with him, or like, why hasn't any other studio stepped up to finance deeper? And would Warner Brothers finance deeper if it wasn't Tom Cruise, if it was Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really know, but that interview that McQuarrie did, like, it was informative and it was engaging and interesting, but it was also a little arrogant.
He does have that air about him. Yes, no doubt. So I wouldn't be surprised that he was bigfooting Aaron Kruger. Kyle Wilson, which Beatles movie do y'all think will have the highest opening weekend? John, Paul, George, Ringo? Any Yoko casting rumors? Love the show. Well, you said a few weeks ago, and other people are reporting it as well, that Anna Sawai is going to be playing Yoko Ono.
That's the rumor. I mean, again, if you're casting a Japanese actress, why would you cast anybody else right now? Seems like she would be the clear one, and that's also the role that you would spend money on outside of the main four roles, right?
Yeah.
So I still think that she's the top choice. I did the story about Amy Lou Wood for Patty Boyd, and then Mia McKenna Bruce for Mo Starkey, right?
Ringo's wife.
And then there's another rumor out there for the other love interest. I don't know if I want to give up the goods right now.
Okay. All right.
I'm trying to investigate it, but it fits it, and she looks the part.
It's Nicole Kidman, isn't it? Tell the truth.
No, I'll tell you offline.
Okay.
But
Mr.
it very much
Poppy.
makes sense.
Mr. Poppy, what's up, Mr. Poppy? Says, sending love to the Hot Mic Bros. Rocha, how much weight have you lost? 30 pounds. You look 10 years younger. Keep it going. Thank you. Yeah. I was 264 when I started this thing. I weighed in at 234 a couple of days ago. So we'll see if I get down to the 225, which is the goal weight. But the last couple of weeks have been harder. So and I'm eating the same. It's just that I'm not losing as much. So I'm clearly hit some level of a plateau. And I have to decide if I want to make some more adjustments to what I'm doing. But I'm kind of happy where I'm at, to be honest with you. So
I think you look 10 years younger because I just look 10 years older. I mean, my God, what is happening to me, guys? Jesus.
Well, you carry the stress of the world on your shoulders all the time, bro.
I'll say.
Tim R says, any truth to Iger being unhappy with Marvel's 2026 slate? Have you heard anything, Jeff?
Yes, that came from my newsletter, Tim.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, again, Avengers is going to be huge. But yes. Avengers comes out in the final days of December now in 2026. The only other 2026 movie is Spider-Man 4, which they have 25% of. If you're paying Marvel, right, you want 2-3 movies out of this studio a year. So 1.12 or 1.25, I don't think is gonna. I don't think that he's happy about it. But I also think that Marvel bit off more than it could chew, which led them to where they are now and why they've had a string of flops. And so that's why they're staying focused on Avengers and like things that are going to be obviously very profitable, right? Avengers, Spider-Man 4. Eventually they're going to have to pull the trigger on other projects, and they could sneak another movie into 2026. Technically, it's only the middle of 2025. Maybe they put something into production before the end of this year, but like then it's a crowded back half of the year. Then it's like you have Spider-Man in July, Avengers in December. Like you're telling me there's going to be another movie in between there.
Yeah, that's
so they are going to have to greenlight some stuff soon, but I don't think Iger is necessarily happy with the output.
Probably not.
They would have liked to have seen Blade cracked or by now or something like that.
Yeah. Eddie Aledia says, what's the plan for Wolverine and the new X-Men? I don't know. Do you know? We don't know. What?
I don't know. I still, love the idea of Taron Egerton.
What'd you think of that Smoke trailer? Did you see it this week?
I did. So I've seen, all of Smoke, obviously. I think it's good. I think it's worth watching. I spoke to somebody else who had seen it and didn't love the first episode, but I think by the end of episode 2, you'll have a better sense of what it is and where it's going. Yeah, the trailer was good, and you got a little snippet of the Tom York song, which is something like I've been wanting to report for a few weeks, but it was under embargo, and then they slid that song into the trailer, and it's like, why, you know, if I had Tom York doing an original song for my TV show, I don't know that I would like make a little fuss out of it. I don't know, like to just stick it in the trailer and then put it in a YouTube description, I thought was a weird choice by Apple.
Fair point. We got a lot of these to get through, Jeff. So, I mean,
let's plan for Wolverine. Taron Egerton would be great. And I also think Cosmo Jarvis is interesting.
Oh, that's a good idea. I like that. CB, The Legend 11, pick one, F4 or Superman, bigger box office. I think I'm leaning towards Superman. Jeff, what about you?
Yeah, I think at this point, I'll go Superman as well.
There's going to be a lot of people going to go over and over again to see that one. 34 go. Who is replacing RDJ as Doom going forward? No one. He's staying as Doom.
We're already having this conversation. My head hurts. Next.
Yeah. All right. Kyle Wilson, you both have a standing invitation at New Rockstars. Is Kyle a part of New Rockstars?
Yeah, I was asking.
Kyle, can you make this standing invitation?
You got to email me. Yeah, you got to DM me something. Put me in touch. I need a contact point.
You need to reach out to us in order to consider the standing invitation. JC Mighty, another donation for the JK and the Fat Man Sneider and the Rocha. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Josh, thanks, Jeff. Thanks so much for that. Josh, I didn't say John of the Bald Man, did I? Jesus. Josh Vescovich says, well, just about to say, looking good, Rocha. I need to get on a plan. Guys, it's really simple. You just have to commit to it. It really is simple. The people is Awaken 180, weightloss.com. They were really great with me. And I'm just telling you, I can't believe no one's more shocked than me. No one's more shocked than me. Evelyn says,
do you think willpower?
That's what it takes. But once you realize the food is just as good.
You've got that military background. You're used to eating like garbage rations, right? Like those, what are those packs called? MRE or something?
MREs, meals ready to eat, yes. Evelyn said, do you think we get a Batman? By the way, some good stuff in there. Do you think we get a Batman?
Yeah, the M&M's, the raisins or something. Do I think we get Batman 2 update or X-Men casting at Comic-Con?
Well, let's get the full Avengers cast, right? Yeah, I imagine. Well, if Marvel shows up, are they showing up to Comic-Con? I don't know.
Comic-Con feels so dead. Like, I've never been. I have no plans to ever go. I don't think that you'll get the full Avengers cast. You may get some more casting, but I don't think you'll get the full cast. That's not the Marvel way. Do we get a Batman 2 update? I'm gonna guess not.
I'm gonna say no. Yeah.
And X-Men, I would also be surprised.
Yeah. Well, listen, X-Men is supposed to come out 2 months after Secret Wars, so I don't know how they're going to move that all around with all the changes now. So I don't know if they'll in a position to announce anything X-Men related, but we'll see. As far as Batman, they'll probably wait for DC Fandom if they're going to do that again. 34 Virgo, tell me if this is too far-fetched. Mashers Ali will be replaced as Blade. Dude is mid to late 50s with 3 movies spaced out. It's possible mid 60s recast. I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
No. You're forgetting 3 important words, my friend.
Go ahead.
Black. Don't crack.
Oh, there you go. That's
okay. Sure. I don't care if Mahershala Ali is in his mid 60s. He's going to look better than me. I'm 41. So I think he is still a viable Blade. I think if they've dicked him around long enough, where it would be tough to walk away at this point and just say, "Oh, we're going with somebody else."
Yeah, he's wrote out all these things. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know who else hasn't cracked it? Bokeem Woodbine. Bokeem, I saw him in something recently. I'm like, how the fuck? He's 52 years old. He still looks like he did when I saw him in the 90s. Bokeem Woodbine. That's insane. SJC3, any movement on who will take the May 1st, 2026 date? I don't think right now there's been anything. Jeff, have you heard anything?
I asked today about a movie and it got denied.
Denied. Right.
It is a movie without a release date that is currently in production featuring a major movie star.
Oh, all right. There you go. Wayne Edwards also saw The Empire Strikes Back for the anniversary at the Fine Arts Theater in Beverly Hills. Nice. 2/3 of the audience, including me, were clapping at every character's appearance and plot point. So much fun. Oh, God, I miss that about LA. I do miss that about. I don't miss much about LA, but I do miss seeing old movies in theaters with audiences that love the experience of seeing them again. Yeah, that's awesome. Alan Smithy, I meant film snobs in the most respectful way. Glad Life Aquatic out on the list. Next time, do Paul W.S. Anderson, Mortal Kombat. Yeah, that'll be a top 3. It won't even get to 5.
No, but did you see who I made contact with last night?
No, who?
So last night, John Mulaney bought 3 Kids on Netflix.
So ridiculous, yes.
And it was a waste of time.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was not a good match. I mean, he barely was aggressive at all. He should have, found kids who would actually let him try to beat them up, and they should have just mauled him. But I said, if you guys really want a show, I'll get back in the ring with Uwe Boll. And somewhere around the world, that tweet made its way to Uwe Boll.
No!
Who said, I'm in.
Oh, my God.
And also slid into my DMs about doing
nice.
I need to respond to Uwe. So Netflix, Netflix hates me.
Right.
You got to be dying to watch me take a punch. Why not just bill this as, Raging Bull Part 2? Let's find some other major critics or cultural voices who Uwe can beat up. And let's have another boxing match. This should be a series, celebrity boxing matches on Netflix.
I'd like to nominate Christian Harloff and I to call that match. I would like to nominate us to call that match. I want to be there ringside when this happens. For God's sake.
I'll take a couple of punches for a Netflix payday.
Come on. What? Dennis Hoffman, what's happening to Joe Carnahan? I'm a huge fan of Doug Boss level, but Shadow Force looked mid. Need him and Frank Grillo back together.
I mean, I love Grillo and Carnahan. Carnahan's the fucking man. But yeah, Shadow Force looked like a fucking gig for hire. I had no interest in that movie. I can't stand Kerry Washington. So
what?
Oh yeah, I'm not a Kerry Washington guy.
So what do you do when you watch Django? Do you go, oh, don't save her, man? Is that what you do when you watch
Django? No. That's not the Kerry Washington. I'm talking about Kerry Washington, not like I'm Kerry Washington where I have something to prove. I'm Kerry Washington, I'm a star, and everybody's here to see me.
Right. All right.
No, I can't stand that Kerry Washington.
All right.
Boss level, I didn't care for.
I liked Boss Level. I like Cop Shop.
Cop Shop, great.
Right? Cop Shop is great.
That's what he needs to get back to. I'm always rooting for Joe. I think Narc is like an unheralded masterpiece.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. SJC, would you dye your beard till not your bread, but your beard to look younger?
The beard?
That's right. He looks distinguished.
I don't really think the beard is the problem, guys. I've always had the salt and pepper look. I don't mind having a gray beard or anything. I actually think the facial hair's on point, but yeah, it's just the head. I don't know what's going on up there.
Oh, I just want to say one thing on the Mulaney thing. Listen here, 3 teenagers, that's stupid. It never really, you know who you should get? 3 members of your ex-wife's family after you cheated on her with Olivia Munn, allegedly got her pregnant, and then divorced her after she stood by you through rehab. Let me see that fight. 3 members of her family taking you on, John Mulaney. I'd be into that one. Let's see what else we got here. CB Legend says, give us some news on F4. We talked about it already, buddy. Let's move on from that one. Wayne Edwards, Rocha, I missed the glasses, but you are looking good. I'm glad the eye surgery went well. Jeff, you rock always.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you, Wayne. The glasses will be back.
We're not worried.
You are. I have to wait 6 weeks, but I will be having new glasses after the 6 weeks. So just be patient. Samo, sending love. Thoughts on the Diddy trial?
Yeah, not really. I don't really care about the Diddy trial. I'm sure. I don't think he's an angel.
Yeah, I'm not watching. It's too abhorrent, man. Oliver 3748. Any updates on Matthew Vaughn? What's he doing next? I don't know. So what do you get there?
I'm not sure. Doesn't he have that stunt movie that he did with Hemsworth or somebody?
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah.
He did some experimental action thing or whatever. But yeah, okay. I don't know.
Kyle Wilson, just reporting what I saw on their rumor rundown. Right, I get that, Kyle, but they aren't reaching out to Jeff or I. So they can put whatever they want, but if they're not making the active effort to reach out to us, then a standing invite means nothing if you don't let the people know who you're inviting, that they have a standing invite. So it's kind of how
go spend $2 on a new Rockstar show and tell them email the Sneider.
Exactly. Trash Panda, Rocha, you still in the EDM? Yes. New Anim album tonight. Oh, really? All right, I'll put that on my list.
You were into EDM?
I fucking love EDM. Are you kidding? If I wasn't so old, I'd go to the Electric Circus, the ones they have in Vegas. Oh my God. I'd go to a Zed concert in a heartbeat. I'd be there, but I'd be the old man in the room. But I would absolutely be there rolling my nuts off, man. JC Mighty, my dad calls Bokeem Woodbine evil Dave Chappelle.
Love that. That is real. That feels very real.
That's great. Eddie Aledia says, and enough time to make a new Marvel movie in between Doomsday and Secret Wars. Yeah, I imagine so.
I think they have to.
Yeah.
Again, I think they have to.
Yeah, you're right. I think they have to as well. Robert Giaquinta just watched Bring Her Back. Good, not great. Yeah, that's kind of what I heard as well, what Jeff was saying. So, all right, let's get these Streamlabs, Jeff. We got to go. Chris says, I'm getting the sense the Running Man may be pushed until 2026. Could this hurt Glenn Powell's stock if he only has Chad Powers out in 2025?
Well, I mean, Huntington is supposed to come out this fall too. Like that's probably gonna, that A24 thriller. That should be at like TIFF or something like that. Right. I don't know if it'll get theatrically released this year or not. I don't know, man. It does feel a little quiet on the Running Man front, but but I think that this fall would be a good spot for it.
Yeah, yeah. Hermione_Granger. Hey, Hermione says, Jeff, I thought you loved trailers. It's the Golden Trailer Awards tonight at the Orpheum Theater. Come on down.
I was invited actually to the Golden Trailer Awards. I do love trailers, but the problem with the Golden Trailer Awards is like there's just so many categories. It seems like such a long show. It seems like there's just endless categories. I would like to. I think I went one year. I'd like to go back, but tonight was not the night.
Well, you're working with someone who recently voted and the Golden Trailer Awards. I was asked to be part of the voting body a few weeks ago, and I put my votes in a couple of weeks ago. And you're right, Jeff. It was a lot of I had no idea. I thought it was going to be like 15, 20 trailers. It was like
60.
It was amazing. You had to watch all the trailers. It took me like 3-4 hours to watch them and give my score.
That sounds like heaven to me. Like that's what I would do anyways. I may have voted one year too. Yeah. I would love to be a part of that because I feel like I am well versed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to go to the movies tonight.
It's good to know. I mean, in the future, maybe I'll pass you all my tickets or whatever. So
you can put in a word for me with the fellow judges.
Definitely. Yeah.
What was I going to say? Did you see the trailer for Baron's Cove, by the way?
No. What is that one?
It's a Garrett Hedlund crime thriller. You should check that trailer out.
Okay. I like the Keanu trailer, that 1 minute one with Aziz Ansari. That looked kind of fun. Did you see that one?
I've been seeing that one for was at last CinemaCon, bro. I am skeptical of that movie. I don't love the high concept premise. In general, I don't love movies with angels.
Why is that, Jeff? Is there an issue? Is there an issue here?
Yes, I'm racist against angels.
No, I mean, like you just don't like angels. I'm just wondering what.
Like We're No Angels, City of Angels. Anytime I see a movie with angel, I'm not so high on it.
Fair enough. All right, let's see here. We got another one. John for Barca says, "Hey Jeff and John, I love the show. Thank you, John. With Netflix and Disney Plus making content like Andor and The Electric State that have budgets of $200+ million, how do they make a profit from them? I don't think they get that many new subs or ads from them to recoup the budgets." Jeff,
they don't. Yeah. They don't make it. Yeah, I mean, and that's like the thing. Like, I think today there was a release on Variety, and it had like the top streaming shows for like the year, right? I think the year is measured like from mid-year last year to mid-year this year. Squid Game led everybody by a lot.
Of course.
Number 2 was Adolescence. Right. Number 3 was like Tracker, the CBS show.
Oh, really? People love that show.
Matlock was 5. But the point was that none of the Star Wars shows or Marvel shows were in the top 20. I think the highest thing was number 45. And so it's like I get that Disney Plus doesn't have the numbers that Netflix has. So just like Netflix can put almost anything on its service and it's probably going to do better than the most popular Disney Plus show. But yeah, when you look at like how much they're spending on those Star Wars and Marvel shows compared to where they land on that list, I don't see how it's sustainable.
It's true.
And that's why I think they're going to be spending less on those shows going forward.
Yeah. Good point. I am too. Flycam says, I just can't take any Superman talk right now, or take serious any Superman talk right now. I'm hyped for the movie, so that's all I'm focused on.
Good.
Jeff, have you seen and/or do either of you think we see Tony Gilroy back at Lucasfilm in any capacity?
Potentially, yes. I can, I heard months ago that Tony was going to sign a first look deal with Disney.
Ooh. Oh, wow. At Disney. So not Lucasfilm, at Disney.
Right, at Disney. But obviously they'd want him to be involved in Lucasfilm properties. In fact, there's something I'm looking into involving Disney and Tony Gilroy. Okay. I don't have an answer yet, but you'll be the first to know in the newsletter if I get that answer.
There you go. By the way, I have to disagree with you. I don't think they want him involved. I think Filoni does not like Gilroy's approach to Star Wars. And that's something Christian's been talking about as well. And I think it's very clear. And Tony,
it's very clear that this show got the best reviews that I've seen out of Star Wars universe in ages.
And Filoni had nothing to do with it. Filoni had nothing to do with it. And that's
right. So you're just not going to bring him back out of spite or because you're jealous?
You know how Hollywood people are. His creative overshadowed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I don't agree. Listen, I don't agree with it. They should totally do it, but Filoni has his opinions on how Star Wars should be. And he's the creative guy. He's the head creative guy there now. John from Barca. Also, have either of you been approached by the YouTube channel New Rockstars to appear on their channel to discuss the process of your scoops and journal? I don't put me in that category. Okay. I occasionally it's Jeff who's if they have or have not asked you, are you interested? Have a great weekend, Hot Mike.
I'm trying to get on for ages. Guys, I want to be on more podcasts in general. That's how I will grow the newsletter, by doing more of these guest appearances on podcasts. So if you've got a podcast with any following, sign me up.
There you go. Mike Green 74 questions about and I would love to come on New Rockstars. We follow each other on Twitter, and they've never asked me to be a part of any of their shows, which I've always kind of been hurt by. So ask me to be involved because a lot of my friends go on their shows. I'm just as good as them. Questions about Sinners for the boys. Why didn't Smoke/Stack and Haley die like the other vampires? Sinners after 3 watches with friends, no more than 8 on 10. Dune 2 is much, much better. Your top 5 Led Zeppelin songs, please. Why not? Be well. Mike, I love you. We don't have time for it. We don't have time for it right now. There's a lot to talk about. So let's table that one to next week, brother. We'll answer it next week, I promise. Or ask or get your refund because that's so much to get into. Kev, hey, Jeff, rumor is that there's drama between actors on the set of Avengers Doomsday, so much so that an actor had to be separated and given their own separate subplot in the movie. Have you heard anything like that?
I mean, it wouldn't shock me. It's always been remarkable how Kevin's been able to manage all those egos. I mean, that's concerning, though, if that was true. It's like, hey, we want to keep you happy. We're just going to come up with a new subplot. I mean, it doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility for what I've heard with this movie. Which is why I would be nervous. Yeah, you're servicing a lot of cooks in that kitchen. I have not heard anything to that effect, though.
Wow, who could it be? Now let the speculation begin.
Who could it be now?
Fantastic 214. Here's more support for the Hot Mic. Also, imagine if the big surprise was Blue Beetle. Just kidding. It would be. Samuel says, I know that this movie came out months ago, but what are y'all's thoughts on the Netflix movie Back in Action? I did not see it, Jeff. So did you see it?
The Netflix movie Back in Action.
Yeah, isn't that the
second worst movie I've seen all year?
Wow.
Just a real we're all just checked out and here for the paycheck.
Yeah, good point.
Total generic Netflix garbage.
JC wants to know, SJC360, when will you see Ballerina? I have an invite, I think, next week. What about you, Jeff? Do you have
I have invites, but I'm just gonna see it once it's out in theaters. I'll probably wait until I'm back in Boston and drag my brothers, one of them, to the movie.
Nice. Yeah, I see it when
I'm not too excited for it.
I see it on Monday, so I'll have some thoughts on Monday. All right, that's everything. Thank you all so much for joining us. The Knicks are up by 11. There you go, on the Pacers, trying to get this to a game 7. Yes, is that right? So we'll see. But thank you, Jeff. Much love to you. Please let people know where they can find you and all your scoops on the Insnider.
TheInsnider.com. If you need a discount, and I'm saying if you need it, if you're a new subscriber who has not subscribed before to the premium version, I will give you a discount. The code will be Knicks.
The code is.
There you go. The code word is Nix, and that will get you a discount off the annual subscription. But it's theinsnider.com, and yes, throw me a little monthly sub if you can, because we just gave away that lantern scoop for free here today.
Yeah, that's true. There you go. As for me, you can follow me at the Rocha Says rather on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, the Outlaw Nation on Twitch, and then of course subscribe to the channel down below. Hit that bell button, leave your comments on everything, and don't forget we are a podcast as well. So in case you don't want to watch our pretty faces or you want to re-listen to some segment of the show, you don't want to watch it on YouTube, you can download it on the podcast on the Hot Mic podcast feed. Give us some love, subscribe to there as well. All right, take care of yourselves, guys, and we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of the Hot Mic. Peace.